is how you open the show, my friend.
Damn straight.
So, so join with me tonight, of course, one of my oldest and dearest friends, uh, Rambo Raff, and AKA, I just call him Matt. And he is going to be on here to talk about all kinds of shit with us. And we're going to be doing like a mini like haul video too, because I got a bunch of stuff in at one time, and it's just weird. And I've noticed if I don't do these haul videos, like they don't ever seem to get done. Like it just drags on forever and ever and ever. So I figured like while I've got a little bit of stuff in, I might as well just like talk about it. So
Here's
anyway,
to that.
yeah. So what have you been up
If
to,
I
man?
drink from the right fucking spot, I hope
Yeah.
I drink from the wrong fucking spot.
Oh, let's see. Hold on. We got shit, Matt. We got stuff going so fast I can't even read it. Hold on one second. So we got
Idle.
I'm just going to read them off here because like that's going to be quicker. We got Brandon S. who says it's dead pit time. You got Afro Well. It says crank those shits. Carlos. He says on the labels. What are you doing, Carlos? Afro Wells on here. Business of Fears on here. What's up, man? The Dead Recliner. That's a good one. What's up? Scratch Burno, Blu-ray Addict, the Mayor. He says, welcome to all the fellow cardboard enthusiasts. Radkins. What is this? I got to read that in a second. Deep Red Masker's on here. Dave G is on here. He says he really enjoyed the stream with Sean Clark and fuck Tony Moran. Yeah, pretty much. Bradley Taylor's on here. Am I ready for Scream 6? No. Nobody's ready for Scream 6. Any thought? Okay, so they're going right into the questions, man. What's up, Dave Boosty? Old Curly Jaws in here. So I guess we just like I thought Mark was going to be in here, but I don't know where the hell Mark is.
He says technical difficulties. He's in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Be on in a sec.
So he's coming. So we can just get started with the
It's funny.
question.
Someone says CK looks really different tonight. I'm like, yeah. Hey, boss.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's an AMA, but it's a little bit different than I guess the normal AMA. All right, John. So here we go, Matt. Here's our first question for tonight. Any thoughts on 976 Evil, the Stephen Jeffries classic?
That's a film that it's one of those that's interesting to see Stephen Jeffries in that kind of part. At the same time, though, I was supposed to feel sorry for him, but I didn't really end up feeling sorry for him. I remember the ending being kind of weird because there's like was it a ice cave or something? Like some kind of special effects going on. And I mean, I don't hate the film. It's not like a horrible, bad film. It's interesting that Robert Englund directed it. I know they made a sequel that was Astral Projection.
It's just one of those movies. It's very much like there's that whole like subgenre movies like Christine where you had like the nerdy guy who like gets some sort of powers or something, and then he like turns, evil and turns against people and stuff like this. And this one he calls like the 976 hotline or whatever, and then that it's a hotline to hell and it turns him evil and yada yada yada. I mean, it's goofy as all shades of shit, and especially like in the beginning when Stephen Jeffries is supposed to be like the nerdy. They've got him dressed up like a fucking nerd, like all the stuff. It's one of those quintessential like 80s movies like that, but it wasn't horrible. The second one, might be a little bit more horrible.
Yeah, remind me of another film that was done called Evil Speech with Clint Howard.
Oh yeah, the one where the
dirty guy.
Yeah, like isn't that the one where he's got like a computer that's hacked into the devil or something like that?
Yeah, and at the end, he's like cutting people's heads out with swords and all this other crazy stuff.
Brandon S. says, I don't know if what are your top 5 wrestling pairs? Jesus Christ, dude. Okay. So I'm going to go with Royal Rumble 92. That's always like one of my favorites. That's the one that Ric Flair won. I'm going to go with
That'd be
WrestleMania 3 and 6. Those are just easy for me. I don't know why, but like, I mean, those are probably overhyped to some degree, but to me, like growing up, I don't remember really watching the Andre and Hulk one because that was a little bit too early on, but that one always got replayed like every year. The body slam and all that, like WWF
yeah.
fucking probably played that every year for 20 years, like around WrestleMania. So that one to me is just a classic too. Now I'm also going to go with like WCW, the first sold out pay per view where the NWO came in. I always thought that was like an awesome one, the way that they did that and everything. If I'm not mistaken, that's the one that was in like black and white for the majority of the time, and they had like NWO matches and things like that. It was set up like completely differently. And then shit, a fifth one. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. There's so many good ones. I don't know. Anything that ECW did back before they got a part of WWF. Actually, one of the ones is One Night Stand, the first WWF One Night Stand. That one's pretty amazing too. The WWF one.
Well, you took two of mine. You took Royal Rumble 92, which I agree with, Ric Flair. Just you look at the group of people in there from Jake the Snake Roberts to Hogan being a heel, and then we're supposed to not think he's a heel. And it's like, come on, he's a heel. Sid should have won. You threw him out and you got booed for good reason. And I agree with the ECW, the first one. WrestleMania, I would go with 7. That one always stuck with me because I think Ultimate Warrior versus Macho Man, I think that's Ultimate Warrior to me, like his best match.
Yeah.
And I remember like I liked the Big Boss Man one. Like there's a lot of matches there I liked as went on. God. It's not Royal Rumble 2014, I'll tell you that. God.
You remember, Matt? You remember the Ultimate Maniacs?
Oh yeah.
That was only like a brief period of time. I don't even know if it was a couple of months or something. But it was the Macho Man and the Ultimate Warrior teamed up. Some of the crazy you want to talk about like the craziest fucking promos ever.
Yeah, Warrior had these glasses that was trying to like be Macho Man's. They had stripes in them, so you couldn't see through them anyway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was when I think they're going to do more with that. And what was also it was going to be Ultimate Warrior was someone like this before he was the first or second time he got kicked out, whatever the hell WWF. Because I know there's supposed to be like a tag team. And he was substitute for Mr. Perfect or something. It's been a while since I've seen that stuff. So,
yeah, me too.
What's up, guys? Sorry.
How you doing, Mark?
It's like my calling card. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm late all the time. There's a higher force at work here. I promise.
See, I even tried to play like the longer intro because I was like, surely he'll make it in like 3 minutes. No, no.
Yeah, that's this new camera I got. I got a new 4K camera, and then like I was switching between the two, and then like something got screwed up there. So, but I'm here now.
All right, so let's go to the next one. Then this one you can join in on, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of questions here, which is good. Have you talked to the other two guys? I'm assuming that you mean the guys at the top of the Tony Moran podcast, the two guys that weren't like making fools of themselves. No, but one of those guys, the Brett guy, did comment on the Tony Moran video. I'm pretty sure. Not the Sean Clark one, but the one before that we did. And he said something in there. Somebody commented and said that he looked like he was just like permanently grimacing or something like that throughout. So you can check the comments. But no, we haven't tried to contact those guys. I don't think that we ever will try to contact those guys because like one of them is the reason why we had to take that video down. So I don't feel like that we're going to be sitting around the dinner table and having a fucking tea party with me anytime soon. But I don't know why they don't just own that podcast.
When you were doing the interview with Sean Clark, I had a feeling there was a look on your face when Sean Clark's like, yeah, those two guys are great. And then I'm sitting there looking at Uncle Bill is like, you say so.
I mean, they might be the greatest guys in the world, but like I think that's a bitch move, if I'm being honest. Like to try to get somebody's Patreon in trouble because you fucking put up a stream that was like out on YouTube. And
how did they know? Like
I have no idea unless one of them signed up for Patreon. I don't know.
Wow.
But
that's what I kept wondering the whole time. I'm like, they must have like a plant in the Dead
maybe so. Yeah,
maybe like
it gets back to people and stuff like that. You know how things are on the internet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: like, I don't have a problem with either one of those guys. In fact, like I think they were the only two people that had any like common sense on that because they just sit there and shut up. And you could just see that they like wanted nothing to do with any of that conversation, but they were kind of just trapped there. And I've been there, man. Like I have been in the middle of interviews, you know, even back when we were doing the old show where it's like you're just in it and like somebody's talking and they just either won't stop talking or they're talking about stuff that you don't want to talk about, but you're just there. I mean, you've only got one or two options. You can either just log the fuck off or just sit there and just deal, you know what I mean? Just deal with it.
Yeah.
Is that what happened with the Day of the Dead guy?
Yes, that's exactly who I was thinking of. Yeah. Gary Clark, who played Private Steele in Day of the Dead, talked for probably, I think it was close to 4 hours, maybe longer than that straight. And like, we never really asked any questions. He just talked like 4 hours straight. And as a matter of fact, I can remember, we talked about this before, like that Wes CK went out and like got breakfast, came back, ate the entire fucking breakfast.
Still talking.
And he's still talking like there's no gap or anything like that. You might have, every now and then we might be like, or something like that. But like, so I've been in that situation, but you got to do something. And like, I feel like the dude should have just left it alone. Like, people were not saying anything bad about them. They were saying shit bad about the other two guys, but like, just leave it alone, man. Like, you did it. You put it up on YouTube. YouTube took it down. Like, it's basically at that point, I would consider it to be like public, you know, kind of like whatever you put up on YouTube is fair game, really.
It's public domain, I thought, at that point.
I don't know, but whatever.
Oh, trust me, I know about YouTube taking stuff down.
Yeah, but I guess you do. You want to get into that? Like, how much do you want to get into that?
I'll tell the whole thing. 2 days ago, I got a community guideline strike for a video I did, I don't know, 2-3 months ago, where I talked mostly about my favorite actresses. But I did a rant making fun of Jennifer Lawrence because I thought she was dumb to say she was the first female action hero. I made fun of her because I was defending people like Sigourney Weaver and people who were way before her. And
you can't say that.
Apparently not.
It's the woke era.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's the internet.
So
like, you can't say anything.
So because of that, I can't stream on my channel or upload for a week. I got a strike that lasts for 3 months. Wow. All because I made fun of Jennifer Lawrence. Maybe it was her. Maybe somehow she found my video. Maybe it was some fanboy or fan.
Wouldn't that be killer if it was Jennifer Lawrence that like fucking
I wish it was. If it was, I'd almost be happy.
That seems insane to me because that would mean nowadays that you can't even have an opinion about anything like because she's definitely 100% not the first action hero. That's like a fact. There's no for female action hero. There's no disputing that. Like they can't be that dumb. But it's maybe is it just the idea that you said she was a dumbass or something like that, which is probably along the lines.
Probably because, and I barely remember, the video was like 3 months ago. I probably cursed a few more times. And at times I do that to be over the top and funny. Yeah, and I do mean it as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you say something like that.
It wasn't anything threatening, right? Like, I mean, you just giving your opinion.
Threatening? Can you imagine? Right. I'm going to kill you.
No.
No.
Not the slightest.
Right. Okay. That's what I figured. Like, that's really weird. I mean, what happened to freedom of speech? You know? Like, come on. I thought the slogan on YouTube was broadcast yourself. You can't put
it's getting real weird on here now. Like in terms of like, because I was telling him before we started, like I can't figure out what it's like, what they're striking people for, and what that they consider offensive is so subjective at this point that I can't figure out what the hell the rules are. You know what I mean? Like some people can say like anything, some people can't say one thing. Like, and it's just real crazy right now. Like it's hard to do a podcast like this. Like there's no way we could do the whole podcast like we used to do. We'd be fucking like it'd be 3 strikes within like a month. It wouldn't even be. So I don't know.
I've said before we started, I think what YouTube wants to do is they want the big YouTubers that get a lot of views and subs, and they do have a bit more free will to do what they want because YouTube takes a chunk of change from them. But if you're a small YouTuber and you don't make any money or you don't make enough money for them,
that makes sense.
But then, oh, you're too mean, you're too rude, you're a headache.
Yeah.
We don't need you. We just want people who are softballing. And it's like with the copyright. Even if you get off the computer, there are people that do, the thumbnails or I've never seen this before. And they have like 30 minutes of footage and they're fine.
Yeah, they're watching the whole damn movie.
Yeah.
Like Terrifier 2. There are people like 30 minutes and they're watching a little film. I had a friend, good friend, I'll shout him out, Michael King. He used 3 still pictures. He got straight. 3 still pictures from Terrifier 2 review where he liked the film.
That's what I'm talking about. Like you don't know what to even put up anymore. Like I won't put anything. I'll barely like hold a DVD up anymore now because I'm scared they're going to like copyright strike it. Like, but I damn sure won't do anything like that.
Sorry, you beat. But like I've noticed CK does his reviews, right?
Yeah.
And he uses footage.
Yeah.
You guys haven't had any issues with that against the channel? Like no.
But here's the thing with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if like he's getting sent those movies to review.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're giving him permission to do that. If it's just implied that because like they give him the movies to review, he can use shit out of them. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, they're given to him explicitly with the assumption that he's going to review them. So I doubt that they would copyright strike those. You know what I mean? Like it's not as if he's just taking them off or buying them and then doing it or something like that. Like there's the ones that he's doing like that, the studios are actually sending him those to review. Okay. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but okay. There's like 5 billion questions on here though. Is anybody planning to see Cocaine Bear? It's out right now.
I'm not going to go to the theater to see it, but I'll watch a stream of it.
Yeah. I've heard. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I did get a request for it, and with I keep forgetting with Patreon, you can upload videos there, so I did just upload videos there. I did get whenever I get time, I'll go check it out. I mean, I'm not looking too forward to it, but we'll see. It's gotten good reviews saying it's silly, it's fun, which that makes sense. But I don't know. Is it going to be so stupid that it's annoying? Is it going to be a try hard funny where we're winking every 5 minutes? Is it going to be obnoxious? We'll see.
You people.
I haven't seen that yet, and I will never ever see that. By the way,
I had the distinct pleasure of watching that film.
did you love it?
So did I.
I did. It was the best.
It's the best thing that ever happened.
That's right.
It's like watching a Melissa McCarthy film. There's
You
some
like the
movies.
CGI kiss?
Oh God, I forgot about the Jonah Hill CGI kiss.
I don't know what the hell. Like, okay, so like I like Jonah Hill, right? Like, and I've even seen his movie. I don't know if you guys have seen it, mid-90s. He wrote and directed.
I haven't seen that. Huh?
It's an
Not that
indie
one.
feature. Pretty solid. I liked it. But with this, wasn't the writing partner the guy who wrote Coming to America 2 or something? Or did he
Yes.
direct
I
it?
heard
Well, the
that.
guy who
Yeah,
directed it.
yeah.
The guy
There
who
you go.
directed You People co-wrote Coming to America 2, and it shows.
That's the issue. Like, I'm like, this is not what I expect from Jonah Hill. Like, he wouldn't. I knew that there was another influence. That explains a lot. Thank you, Matt. I figured that guy was the driving force of like why it was so bad. I personally, I don't think Jonah Hill's necessarily bad in it, but the material is so repetitive and the characters are unbelievably dumb. I mean, even for a comedy, like I don't expect everyone to be, I mean, it's not a drama, so like I expect it to be some stupid humor here and there, but like every line is just this constant like race driving joke that's just not funny. And it was like beating a dead horse. And I'm like 30 minutes in, I'm like, this movie keeps going this way. It's just going to continue to be even more average. And then by the end of like the second act, it was below average. And then I'm like, what's the point? Like what did they make this for?
The first 2 minutes is a radio show comparing Obama to Jesus. That kind of tells you the whole thing. And though I would smoke weed with Obama, so I would smoke weed with Jesus or something like that. That's the dialogue. From the creator of, I didn't see the TV show Blackish, and he created these TV shows. Coming to America 2, that tells you everything. Eddie Murphy's just angry and mad.
That's one of the
and David
worst
Duchovny
movies.
is in it.
What
and he
the hell was that?
Stoned.
Right?
He looked stoned.
Was he on drugs or something? That was the weirdest performance I've ever seen from him ever.
Maybe he had to be just because to get through that. I don't know.
Maybe
he's like, I'm on this
also,
fucking movie.
It's funny. He mentions Exhibit, and Exhibit co-starred in X-Files too.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, that's why you mentioned Exhibit, I guess.
Yeah.
X to the Z.
He dropped that joke like
stoned.
50 times over. It was so annoying.
Well, he was so stoned he forgot. He told the joke already.
That's probably true. All right. Movie Junkie John wants to know, what is our favorite video game console? All-time favorite. First of all, it's good to hear from you, John.
Either.
Oh, God. Okay. Of all time? PlayStation 2? That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue that. I'm old school. I'm old school as old school gets, and I'm old school Nintendo kid, so I'm going to say probably a 64 because that was like the one that I like. I didn't grow up with it, but it hit probably right like I was 16, 17 years old, something like that. So it's like the peak video game years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my favorite.
I would say PS2.
So for each of you, which 3 games did you play the most for them?
That's easy.
64. What is it?
Oh, GoldenEye, 100%.
Of course.
WCW versus NWO and WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Yes, definitely.
And Zelda. Yeah.
And in WCW, who did you play as more? Was there a certain wrestler you played as more?
I would always pick like the WCW guys. I never really picked the NWO guys or anything, so it would always be like, I hate to say this, but it would always like either be Benoit or it would be Eddie Guerrero or Jericho or one of the more likely the cruiserweights were the ones that I picked the most at that though.
Yeah, for me it
That's
was
something to.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, for me it
No,
was
I was going to
probably
say real quick.
sorry.
I keep screwing up. I was going to say real quick, Dr. Bill, you gotta keep that because you'll never see Benoit again in a game. So that's a
Oh, yeah.
collector's item.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. He's not gonna. No time soon.
Anytime soon.
Yeah, for sure. Those were great. WrestleMania 2000 for
Ah,
sure.
that's a great one too. Yeah.
No Mercy was fantastic.
Yeah.
But as far as WCW and NWO stuff, character wise, I probably played with Sting a lot. For some reason, I liked Glacier. Don't laugh.
Glacier. Remember when freaking Canyon as Mortis would cut those promos on it? Glacier. He had that lisp and shit.
Oh, that was so great. That was classic stuff right there.
Now I would pick more. Listen, probably the best overall, like overpowered guy on that game is fucking Mortis. Like his move set. I don't know if you played like Revenge or anything lately, but his move set on that is insane. Like that, they really gave him like all of his legitimate moves that he used in WCW at the time, and it's like you can just murder people in that game with him, and you wouldn't think that. But, yeah. Anyway, sorry, get off on a 64 tangent. This is a good question. Business Affairs says, who is the best current horror villain?
Jennifer Lawrence.
That's a good answer. Yeah. She's the first female horror villain, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that, but I know that now.
The best current horror villain. There's a couple that spring to mind, but I don't know if I'd call them like the best. They're what people think are the best, but that's tough to.
Everyone that's not Megan.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not gonna have you shit on Megan.
Yeah,
you don't like that little. You don't like that dance that she does, Mark? Like when she gets all like.
No.
Is that little thing? No.
Yeah, I was not a fan of Megan. But good for James Wan. I like James Wan. I mean, he made a lot of money, so
he did.
I'm
gonna say the one that's most iconic right now, there's no doubt in my mind, is probably Art. So that's probably the one that's like, I don't know if he's the best, but he's the most like notable one that's come out in probably the last 10 years that I can think of.
Yeah.
Corey.
Shut the fuck. God. Yeah.
He did more than Megan, so like they kill me with that like trailer for Megan. The unrated version. It's like she killed like 3 people. Like what are they gonna show? Like
that's true. I can't imagine an unrated version of that film anyway.
Yeah,
when you say weird. Current, like how far back would current be?
I'm not sure. Let's say last like 5 to 10 years.
If we go 10, I agree with Blu-ray Addict. I'll say The Collector.
Oh, that was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. I like both of those movies, so that'll be my answer.
All right. Let's see here.
Ooh.
Dave Boosty wants to know, is there anyone at all left in the convention circuit that you would love to meet and greet, Uncle Bill? There's one person, and he's never going to do it, and because he's like 85 years old at this point, and that would be Argento. He would be the only person that I would want to meet at a convention anymore. I do not give a shit about any other single person.
You meet Bruce Campbell and tell him how you think of him.
I did meet Bruce Campbell back in 2005. Okay. Yeah. 2005. I stood in line 2 hours, something like that. Is the longest I think I've ever stood in line to meet anybody except maybe Jamie Lee Curtis. And as are most things at conventions, it was very underwhelming. You just meet him for like 10 seconds and yada yada yada, whatever. But he wasn't a dick. He was just kind of it's just kind of there. Bradley Taylor wants to know, would we be willing to do West Virginia a new audio commentary for Friday the 13th Part 1 with Adrian King? Shit, yeah. I mean, if she wants to do it. All right. Alpha Romero says, either of you seen J.T. Petty's S&M Man from 2010?
I remember that, but I don't think I've seen it. I do remember the cover, though.
When you said J.T. Petty, I thought it was the race car driver, but that's not the same.
That's Richard Petty. Not counting Missouri, what's the worst state in the Union? West Virginia. Just right off the top of my head. Okay, this is a good one. Radkins wants to know, if you could make a series, stop making remakes, sequels, requels, or other bullshit, which series would you pick and why? So it's one that you want to stop making anything, like franchise-wise.
Only one?
I guess the main one, yeah.
Remakes for me.
What was it?
Remakes for me.
Oh, I thought you mean like a series as in a movie franchise series.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. He means like if you could take a franchise and be like, that they can't make any more sequels, requels, or other shit. Like, what would that franchise be?
It's hard to pick one because I'm like, of them.
They're also running to the ground at this point. It's kind of hard to like just pick one.
To me, it's fucking probably Halloween with Texas Chainsaw like a close second. I mean, I'm just so done with Halloween though, man. Like after that last.
I'll pick a person, Kevin Smith. Please stop making movies.
Yeah, it's probably about time for that to stop too.
I was such a big fan of his.
I was too, man. Like back in the day, like when he was doing like Dogma and Mallrats and even Jay and Silent Bob, all that stuff was great. And then I'm not sure exactly. I even liked Red State a lot. And then after that, like it kind of steadily just went downhill. I'm not sure what happened around that time period, but it was bad.
Yeah, most people say
Zach and Mary, he met Seth Rogen, and Seth Rogen helped him do Wake and Bake. And then Kevin Smith only did Wake and Bake all the time. And his podcast went down. That's how he created that Tusk movie. Because he was on a podcast. Like
he was on there with Scott Mosier, right?
Yeah, called Smodcast. He's like, I saw this story. What if you took a guy and made him into a Tuscan walrus?
It is such a stupid idea. I actually kind of like that movie, Matt. Don't kill me. But I think the best thing that he ever did, and I'm not exaggerating, are all of those evenings with Kevin Smith, like especially the first three. Like he's probably the best storyteller, like for that kind of stuff, for behind the scenes kind of stuff that I've ever heard. And the stuff that he talked about with Bruce Willis and Prince and all that stuff, that's like some of the best stuff. If you don't have those, anybody listen to this,
great.
Those are amazing.
He did one after that was pretty close, at least in terms of release, to the third one. It was called Too Fat for 40.
Yeah.
Most people don't talk about that one. That one's actually really good. But that was sort of like the start of him on his decline, I'll say.
Yeah. All right. Jonathan wants to know, what are your thoughts on Thinner? I'm assuming that's Stephen King's Thinner. Love the book. I read the book when I was in high school. The movie is fucking awful. That's my thoughts, really.
I haven't seen it in a while. Back when I saw it, I was a lot younger, and I remembered liking it. But Is it really that bad? I haven't. God, it's been fucking like I don't know, like maybe over 10 years for sure. Like
I remember it being pretty bad. I remember the makeup effects being really bad when he like, you know, is because he's in a fat suit at the beginning of it because that's how that they show that he loses the weight, right? So he starts out in this horrible like fat suit makeup that's just awful, and I don't remember the movie being great. And they deviate on a lot of parts from the book too.
Okay, and that was Tom Holland, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep, it was he. I didn't care for that film either. So, real quick, like, since you read the book, what was the thing that deviated the most? Because I never read the book.
In the book, I don't think this was in the movie. Like, he was friends with like a mafia guy, and I think like the mafia guy, I don't remember if he was a hitman or if he was just a mob guy, but I think the mob guy is the one that eventually like helps him figure out like what in the hell's going on and like. Yeah. And I don't think that character's in the movie like whatsoever.
He is.
Yeah, there's
in the
a mob
movie.
guy.
He's in the movie. Okay.
Yeah, I do remember him.
Chaz Palminteri, I think, is the actor. I could be wrong, but yeah, because he tries to shoot the gypsies at one point.
Right, he's got like an AK or something. Yeah, I remember that.
Or maybe it's Joe Mantegna. I think it's Joe Mantegna.
Yeah, that's who it is.
That was him.
Wait a minute. So yeah, okay. I don't remember that character at all, but it's been a long time since I've seen that movie too. So Joe Mantegna is the one from Criminal Minds, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And he was like the only good part of the movie. Like, I'm not big on the lead actor. He's the same guy who was RoboCop and RoboCop 3, and I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what this says exactly. I'm going to skip that one. Okay. Favorite wrestling belt of all time. Mine is the original WCW Big Gold Ric Flair, introduced in '86. That's easy for me. The WWF winged belt.
The Winged Eagle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one, but for some reason, I'm really partial to the Attitude Era Championship.
That's, yeah.
I don't know.
Talking about the. That's not a bad one, yeah. I thought you were going to say the John Cena spinner.
No.
It'd been kill if you said that.
Not at all. Yeah. And I remember like Edge had one that was like a spinner, like R in the middle or something like that.
Yes, the rated R thing. Yeah.
Why? Just
I don't know.
Why?
It was just a thing there for a while. Yeah. Let's see. What's good, y'all? Preminator's in here. Saturn Video's in here. Johnny Darko. Good to see y'all. Nocturno says, what are your favorite 3 non-horror movies? Now, this will be interesting.
That's like such a that's a really difficult question for me. I mean, there's so many genres. Like,
come on, narrow them down. You got a gun to your head. You've got like a minute. You got to pick 3 movies that are non-horror. What do you pick?
I'll probably just get fucking shot, like, because I can't think of anything.
Damn it, Mark. You're dead.
I could come up with like a top 10 for like maybe each genre, but I don't think we have that kind of time, and that's not the question, so I can't even answer. That's too hard. I like to.
It's not. Okay, here we go. Sorcerer, Ghostbusters. Fuck, what will be the next one? Those 2 are easy. Sorcerer, Ghostbusters. Okay, you're right. It's too fucking hard.
See, like,
I'll do it.
Do it, man.
Hard Target. For me, Hard Target, Aliens, because that's more action sci-fi. And Hard Target, Aliens, and Rambo First Blood Part 2. And then Golden Child is near that as well.
All right. I'll throw in Conan for my 3rd one then. The Barbarian, not the fucking Destroyer. And not the remake.
I'll probably regret my answer, but
yeah,
because I'm just gonna forget something. off the top of my head, Back to the Future, whole franchise. I mean, I love all three. Like Matt said, Aliens is a big one for me. Like that's just the pinnacle. I think that's probably the peak of that franchise, honestly. I know
Yeah.
everybody loves the first one, but that second film is just so iconic. I mean, so many things that were created out of that, like, you know, the whole Queen alien. I mean, they built that whole puppet. That's amazing. Rest in peace, Stan Winston. He was amazing. And Terminator, I'll say.
Love the first Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Laundry day, nothing clean, right? Nothing clean, right? Uzi 9mm, phase plasma
So many,
rifle, the
so many
40 watt
quotables.
range,
It's amazing.
12 gauge auto
Real quick,
loader.
I like what Garrett said. Going child, what a deep cut. Exactly, man. And go pound his ass when I find him. Go roll your ass till it bleeds.
I like the part where he's up there like at the altar or whatever, and he's like asking for the knife. He goes ask again. He goes, I said, I want the knife. It's classic. Okay. Thoughts on Let Me In?
That the Matt Reeves remake?
Remake, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I don't think I've seen it. If I have, I don't remember it.
It's not the original,
yeah.
but it's fine. I mean, it's better than it should have been. I mean, given the state of all remakes back then, and even now. I could take it or leave it. I'd probably just watch the original over it. So that's my answer.
I'd have to rewatch it again to give a better opinion. I saw it once. I don't remember much about it. But it is one of those remakes that's very similar for what I remember. Because there's some remakes that are different. That's kind of almost beat for beat, I think. Could be wrong on that.
No, you're right. It's pretty close.
Okay.
Johnny Darko asks, how does the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4K transfer look? How much of an improvement? Well, it's funny that you asked that, Johnny, because CK did a bunch of comparison shots between the Blu-ray and the 4K that he just got in, and he just reviewed it. You can look up that video too. It's on YouTube. He reviewed the new one from Dark Sky Films. To me, I don't like it. I don't like the way it looks, but it looks a damn sight better than the Blu-ray looked. I'll say that. Like the Blu-ray was like way oversaturated. Like, and the 4K tones that down quite a bit, but I still think it looks almost like fucking wax or something. Like they've almost like, have you ever seen that in a 4K where they clean it up so much and they run it through those fucking like processors so much that it almost looks like
the T2 one. That's the one everybody always complains about. They call him the Waxinator because he looks like a fucking wax statue.
That's what I'm saying. To me, that a lot of those stills look like that. Like it just looks kind of like too glossy or something. I don't know how to explain.
So, to you, what is the best looking chainsaw transfer that you have in your collection?
I'm be honest with you.
Is it DVD? Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. Like, and I haven't seen that Dark Sky one yet or anything. I've just seen the stills that he put up in the video that he did of it. To me, it's the German turbine edition. That's the best looking one that I've got.
Okay.
But I want to get the second sight one anyway, because God knows what the hell that'll be like. So,
yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most, honestly. I'm loving Second Sight these days, so yeah, I'll be picking that up for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Bradley wants to know: have you ever interviewed Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens, or Michelle Bauer? Shit. Yes, we interviewed Linnea Quigley. I'm almost positive. Like I can barely remember like the interviews that we did, but I'm almost sure that we interviewed Linnea Quigley. I don't think we ever interviewed Michelle Bauer. I don't know if we interviewed Brink Stevens or not. I really don't. I don't remember it, but Linnea Quigley, I'm positive. Yeah. Thoughts on Maniac Cop?
First one, I liked it, but I liked the second one more. I think that's more of the Robert Davi being more the lead. You'll like that, Uncle Bill. Bruce Campbell gets killed in it.
God damn.
The first one, I thought it was weird that how they dealt with Tom Atkins' character. Because it's like they're building up his character as if he has a backstory. I guess just for a twist, they go a different route. I didn't really care for that part. It's okay, the first one. I prefer the second and third one because I think they had some really good stunt sequences. Because I think the guy was a Rosados. He actually went on to work on like bigger films, like with Marvel and Fast and Furious movies. He did stunt work for them, so you had some pretty good stunt work. And first one's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's never like those movies have never been my favorite movies for some reason. I've just always thought, like you were like saying, they're kind of okay. The most amazing thing about those movies to me is just knowing all the backstories that I know about Robert Zadar, like and how he was in real life. But the first one is fine. I mean, it doesn't blow me away or anything.
I agree with Matt on the stunts, though. Like the stunts in part 3 are really interesting. I mean, the whole car on fire sequence is really cool.
Yeah, he's driving and he's on fire while driving. Like, I don't even know how the hell you do that. Like, with all the fire, you think you'd be blind, but I guess they found a way.
Yeah. So and Jackie Earle Haley's performance is pretty crazy, but entertaining.
I'm just getting to this, but apparently this was about like 30 minutes ago. Like we got like Garrett sent a bunch of people over. Like I'm 30 minutes behind on this, but yeah, there's a ton of people that got sent over from Garrett's stream.
Nice.
So the Rad Man sent us. Big Rad just shouted y'all out. Garrett said send our ass over here. So yeah, thank you for that. Captain Horror's in here. What's good, fellas? Hope everyone's doing well. Just left Garrett's stream. Okay, that's that. Any thoughts on the? Oh, this is going to be an interesting question. Any thoughts on the Mist?
For a while there, I was a kind of a Thomas Jane Marq. I liked pretty much all the stuff he was doing, like from Boogie Nights on to like even The Mist, at least. I like what they do in certain parts of the movie. I like the Marcia Gay Harden character. But like ultimately, I think we all know the ending, so I'm not. That's not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
That I still don't know how to feel about it to this day. I mean, I don't rewatch the movie often, so maybe
who could like unless you.
So
like,
you know, I agree with Anthony. That was I like Thomas Jane's Punisher. Like it's very, very violent for its time. The action scenes are really fun. I think John Travolta's pretty ridiculous in the movie, but still it works. It's a fun time. So
he's pretty ridiculous and everything.
I read talk about the Punisher and the Mist. I was not a fan of the Mist. I like the concept. I like Thomas Jane. That religious girl got on my nerves so much, and I'm like, whoever buys her story has no brain cells. And I'm like, is this really what we gotta do? The whole religious and so always gotta be a crazy religious lady. Always gotta be a crazy person. I thought the CGI was really bad. I don't see people say you need to see the black and white one. No,
yeah.
I don't care.
I was gonna say
black and white one.
It's slightly more tolerable in black and white, but like it's not fooling you. You can still know. Like I mean, it's there. Like it's plain to see. I don't know what the hell happened with that. Like I was expecting,
especially like Frank Darabont co-wrote the Blob remake from 1988, which is a personal favorite of mine. And you look at the effects in that, And then the effects in this, they probably had the same, or I don't know what the budget was, but I just there's a
Even
lot of
Walking
dumb
Dead,
decisions too.
like the first season, he did that. Like, look at the effects in that. I mean, they won so many
That's
awards for
true.
the for the effects, and I know he's got an eye for that kind of thing. So I just don't know what the hell happened. I don't know if that was a studio like wrestling match there where they were like, no, it's going to take too much more money, like to use actual effects, and it's going to take all this time. So maybe that was a studio thing. I don't know.
Did you guys either one of you ever watch it in black and white? There was that black and white cut that was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, does that do anything for you? I mean, does it change the?
It does. Again, it's slightly more tolerable in black and white, but only slightly because you've seen the colored version first. So having that in your mind, you already know. So it's like it's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. When I first walked out of that movie, I had like my initial thought, and I think it's probably in the review that we did for it on the road review that we did for it. I was just like, I was really actually impressed that he had the balls to do that ending
Mm-hmm.
because it's a Hollywood movie at that
Mm-hmm.
time period. I was like, it takes some fucking balls to do that ending, knowing like what the backlash was going to be. Like that's like a studio's worst nightmare, that ending, because they want everything to be, wrapped up neatly, and the good guys win, and or there's some resolution at the end. And at the end of that movie, you just like, God, like there's none of that. So I applaud him for that, at least.
Weren't they in the middle of were they in the middle of a city? Because of the mall, right?
It was a grocery store, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a small
I know, but
town,
I'm like,
grocery
why don't you
store.
try to run to another car instead of I'm just gonna shoot everybody?
Oh, from
just go try to find another car.
I guess
drive out.
I think the idea was that it was just hopeless, like they were all around them and everything, and that they were eventually going to like die anyway.
Are you talking about like the end sequence or just like throughout the movie? Why didn't any? Okay. Yeah, they were like on an isolated road. They ran out of gas, I'm pretty sure, and like they were just stuck. So
this shows how much I remember the movie.
It's a fucking bummer, I'm gonna tell you.
One big bummer.
Thoughts on the Black Phone?
Liked it.
Yeah, I liked it.
I liked it a lot.
I understand that the ending was a little Home Alone-ish. I know, but I liked it. That was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan Hawke did a good job.
I thought he was the best part of the movie by far. Yeah.
Yeah.
The kid was good too. The main
Mm-hmm.
kid.
Scott Derrickson's come a long way.
Yeah.
I'm glad he got out of his fucking Marvel contract. I did not want to see him doing any more of that stuff. Now he's back at home doing horror.
What did he do before that, Mark? There's a movie he did before he got
Hellraiser Inferno was his first.
That's fucking it. Yep. Okay.
And then Sinister was like the one that kind of like put him
over. That broke him. Yeah. That movie still is terrifying to me. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Like that's like one of those movies where if you have kids, like you cannot watch that movie and not be affected. Like it's so insanely violent in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Bradley Taylor says, and I can't believe this, but if it's true, I received a notice from Adrienne King that she is interested in doing a new audio commentary for Friday the 13th with Dead Pit. Well, Brad, if that's the case, then please have her get in touch with us via like Instagram or deadpit at deadpit.com. If that's still the Gmail, I think it is. Deadpit at deadpit.gmail, some bullshit like that. Anyway, just have her get in touch with us and we'll definitely do it. Ain't no doubt about that. Wes is on
you'd be lying now. You'd be lying now.
I love Adrienne King. Like she's honestly like one of the nicest people ever, for real. All right, let's see. I don't know how far behind I am here. Seems like I'm pretty far behind though. Bunch of talk about the Cocaine Bear. I feel like that's real far behind. Okay, let's just go up to some of the newer ones and I'll work backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, Christian's in here. He says, "Good to see you, Christian. Best horror movie of the '90s." God, man.
Ooh.
Stuff like Jacob's Ladder always comes to mind.
That's a good one.
I like Savini's Night of the Living Dead a lot.
I love that movie too. But the best horror movie of the '90s. Oh my god. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of different like eras of the '90s almost. Like the early '90s are basically just a continuation of the late '80s, like real cheesy
kind of a fallout of the '80s. Yeah,
and then it moves into the middle '90s where nobody really knew what the hell to do until Scream came along. So like that period in the mid '90s is just crazy, like brain scan kind of shit coming out and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get Scream, and then everything turns into slashers. Mm-hmm. Then you get Blair Witch Project, and everything turns into handheld films.
Right.
I don't know. I'll come back to that. That's too tough for me to answer.
Silence of the Lambs.
That would probably honestly be my pick. Because I probably watched that movie more times than almost any other besides like Dawn of the Dead. All right, let's see.
Yeah, 90s ahead, for me is one of my favorite eras for horror because there's lots of I'm a big sucker for creature feature movies, and there's a ton in that era from what's that creature feature, but before I forget, like the first Power I love with Lou Diamond Phillips.
That's one of my favorites.
Jacob's Ladder. See you around, buddy boy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Love that movie.
I love that.
Body Parts with Jeff Fahey, I think is very underrated by Eric Red.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to see a car chase where two people handcuffed together, that's the movie.
That's a very fantastic sequence. I agree.
I love Stephen King's Graveyard Shift. I love especially that guy's accent. Bravo, you see on sausage. You know, the dad from the Monster Squad.
Oh, Stephen Marq. Yeah.
Warwick. Yeah.
When did Pet Sematary come out? That was '89 though, wasn't it? It was barely missed the '90s. Yeah. Okay. Also, somebody brought up In the Mouth of Madness, which is another one of my favorites.
Yes.
If you watch, I tell you something that's even more impressive than the movie to me. If you watch the behind the scenes about everything that's in that fucking movie that make up that story, like it's insane the amount of detail that's in that movie that you would never like catch unless you kind of like know what he was going for throughout that whole thing. So yeah, go back and watch like some of the documentaries and like just some of the like of him talking about like what all that means in the movie.
That was written by Mike DeLuca, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it was. And like, I don't know, somebody in the chat, did he do anything else after that? Like writing wise? I mean, I know he was a genre guy.
He was. I see him at Dark Delicacy signings and shit, like, or did in the past anyway. Jesus Christ, I'm not even sure where to begin with this. Hold on. Troll 2. Just a comment.
Was that 90s? Maybe say like 90s horror. Was Troll 2 90s?
Was that not? It was 90. Yeah, I think Troll 2 was 1990. What's a sequel that is
horror?
This is an interesting question. What's a sequel that's objectively better than the first movie? So not subjectively, just objectively a better movie, which I'm not sure how you would prove that. We'd have to like do research.
That's any genre, right? Not just
let's see. It just says, yeah, what's a movie or what's a sequel that's objectively better than the first movie? God, man.
Well, yeah, I don't know how you form objectively. I mean, like for me, as much as I love Alien, I like Aliens more. You know, as much as I probably like some of the Friday the 13th sequels more than the first. But objectively,
I'm not sure how you prove that a movie is better than like the. But okay.
Wow, somebody said Predator 2. That's pretty bold.
I'm
I
down with
don't, I
that.
don't, I don't agree with that.
I
I
love
love
Predator 2.
Predator 2, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's a better movie than Predator. I don't think there's many movies better than Predator, though. So, I 100% think Aliens is a better movie than Alien, though. I really do.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I said that
Um,
earlier. Glad you guys agree with me on that one.
This is controversial, probably, but I actually like Rambo 2 better than First Blood. So if I can kill
So do
me.
I. That's my
Yeah.
favorite.
It's another
Rambo
Cameron
2,
script
so.
right there.
I would say, let's see.
This seems random, but like the Purge Anarchy, the second one, I think is every doubt better than the first Purge movie.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Because
Again,
the first Purge is just a home invasion movie. The Purge Anarchy actually
mm-hmm,
developed the whole city, and
mm-hmm.
you brought in Frank Grillo, who's a pretty good actor.
That's the best part of it, in my opinion. He's he's the only guy you really latch onto in that movie. His character was pretty good. Like, and I like the mystery of his character. You don't know too much, which I think the third movie kind of spoils a little bit for me. Like, I didn't need to see. It was kind of a character regression. Like, I didn't. The third one's okay, but the second one's probably the best one in the franchise. I did see that he's coming back to do the last Purge, but I don't believe that'll be the last one.
No, it won't be the last one. I'm going to give you 3 really obscure ones right now. You ready? That I think are better sequels than the originals. Sleepaway Camp 2, I think is a better movie than Sleepaway Camp. That would be one of my picks. And then House 2, I like better than the original House.
Oh,
it's a goofy ass movie. It's got a caterpillar dog in it, and that's why it's better than the first House. Have both of y'all seen House 2? Out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's I don't even know how to explain. It's more like a family movie. It's like a kids movie almost, like up until the very end or something. But I always just like that movie. And then of course Troll 2. Troll 2 is a better movie than Troll.
yeah, that's a given. Yeah. I'd have to watch House 2 again though. I haven't seen it in forever. I have the Arrow box set, but I'm always going to be more partial to the first one because I grew up with that one.
Oh yeah, I understand
one of the early movies that I bought on VHS as a kid with my own money. Like, so I have a special place in my heart for that one. I love it.
So Dave G wants to know: are any of us watching Last of Us? I am. I've watched every episode. I know Mark is pissed off about it, but Mark has irrational anger based on the video game.
Go
ahead,
good.
Mark.
No,
what is it? I haven't seen it, so I want to know.
I mean, I think Anthony summed it up last time when we did the roundtable the best. Like, just some of the changes, like, and I think that I even mentioned this on one of the last streams we did. Like, I'll wait till the end before I give my final judgment on it. I want to see where they're going with this season and how it ends, and if they even touch the second game with season 2, I know I'm not going to watch the second season. So there you go.
Damn you, Mark. All right. This is a good question. I don't think we've ever talked about this guy either. What are our thoughts on early John Waters films?
I'm actually a big fan. Well, I won't say big fan, but I like a lot of his early stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of my favorites, and people might be surprised by this, is Crybaby. Like, I'm a big fan of that one.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, like on the Blu-ray, there's some pretty interesting features with Waters talking about just his time in the 50s during that era.
Yeah.
And that was his way of not satirizing it, but like being somewhat tongue-in-cheek, and the whole musical aspect. I like the songs in it. Like, it just works for me. Like, it's a fun movie. all the characters are really cool. Yeah, I love that one. Serial Mom, Cecil B. Demented's okay, although I think that was a little later.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
Whoa.
that's not good.
uh,
I was like,
You have to
what?
name Last of Us.
That's right. Pink Flamingos is great. With technical difficulties. I love Pink Flamingos. I love
I'm still here.
what is it Female Trouble, the next one that he did? I think so.
I think so.
I think that one's really good too. And then oh god, there was the one with fucking that they did a musical about. That was pretty early on too. Polyester, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was it. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I was I won't say I was a huge mark for his movies or anything like that, but I did enjoy them. I thought they were like as kind of counterculture as you could have gotten around that time period.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, someone mentioned Hairspray.
Hairspray, that's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, real quick, like the sequel thing, I mentioned one.
Yeah.
Ghoulies 2 and 3 are way better than the first one.
That's
I hate
true.
The first one.
That is objectively true. Yeah. Especially the second one. I love the second Ghoulies.
Yeah.
Also, Puppet Master. The first Puppet Master sucks ass, and the puppets are barely in it. But the second and third ones are like amazing. Okay, this is a good one, Matt. And it's a good one too, Mark.
Ooh.
Least favorite movie from each major horror director. So I always call them like the big four. So I'm talking about Romero, Carpenter, Craven, and Hooper. So the least favorite movie from each of those guys.
Okay. For me, with John Carpenter, for me, I don't like The Ward. I mean, it just...
I really don't like The Ward now. That Amber Heard fucking in it. It's like... Yeah.
You said Romero, Survival of the Dead.
I would probably pick that. Yeah.
You said Craven?
Craven, yeah.
Where's Craven? My Soul to Take.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
I always forget about that one.
What was the
Most
fourth?
people do. Hooper.
Romero?
Toby Hooper.
Oh, yeah, Hooper. Mortuary is pretty bad.
I think that might be the worst. I mean...
Yeah, Mortuary.
I kind of agree with all those. I might put Cursed in for Craven because Cursed is just such a clusterfuck of a movie. But also, yeah, I'd probably pick those other two. I know it's Survival of the Dead for me for Romero. For Carpenter, yeah, I mean, it's probably Ghost of Mars for me because I hated Ghost of Mars. Still hate Ghost of Mars with a passion.
I mean, I have a soft spot for Ghost of Mars. It's silly, but it's fun, and I like Nastasia Henstridge, and I like Ice Cube for what he needs to be.
I like the fact that Carpenter was like, "We're making the worst film." Like he knew. He was like,
"Yeah."
He would come on set and be like, "We're making the worst film of my career, y'all. Come on, let's everybody get amped up." It's like he absolutely knew what he was making. What do you think, Mark?
But of those other films you mentioned, like Ghost of Mars is a lot more watchable than a lot of the other guys' worst films, to me at least.
Yeah, for sure.
What about you, Mark?
For Cursed, that one's probably a given.
For Craven.
For
Craven's Cursed?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's one of the worst.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, I know there was like 15 reshoots or something. He had trouble with the studio nonstop. It was just a nightmare from what he said. That movie was never going to work. I mean, because that was the Weinsteins, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just got chopped to shit. So I mean that's what they called him. What was it, Harvey Scissorhands or whatever? Like that was like his name. So yeah. So definitely cursed. Ghost of Mars. I don't think it's his worst. Let me think. And these were genre titles, right? It was like the worst horror by
Yeah,
major
just
directors.
the least favorite movie by the major horror directors. Yeah.
I'll have to get back to you guys on that. I'm going to think about it.
All right. Radkin says, "What are the top 5 Italian horror movie scores?" God damn. Okay, I can do mine real quick because I love Italian horror movie scores. Deep Red is definitely in there.
Mhm.
Suspiria is definitely in there. There's no doubt in my mind about those two. Zombie is in there for me. Fulci Zombie. Shit. After that, Tenebrae. And I know I'm going to leave something out that's like huge too. I like the one, the Psychic, the 7 Notes.
That's
score.
really good.
Yeah,
I agree.
I like that one a lot too.
Yeah, I'd say Tenebrae for sure. Cannibal Holocaust.
It's a good one.
I really like the score for Sleepless.
It's a good one too.
Sleepless.
Yeah.
I might as well just say Goblin for everything.
Yeah,
It's all
just
Goblin.
Goblin, yeah.
Yeah. And Zombie. I think that's Fabio Frizzi.
Yeah.
And probably Demons.
Demons is a great one too, yeah.
If that counts.
Demons has a score to it. It also, I mean, has a lot of soundtrack stuff in it, but it's got a good score.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I'm at now. I'm like all out in the weeds. My computer's like, I'm not loading these fucking comments. Fuck you. Here we go. Yeah, I think one of the best intros, John, to any movie is with a score intro is Tenebrae, where they throw the fucking book on the fire and that music kicks in, and it's like, yeah, that's how you open a movie. Let's see. Well, this is a good question too. What's your favorite Stuart Gordon movie that's not Reanimator?
Fortress. I go with Fortress.
Damn, that's a deep cut there. Okay. Oh, I know what mine is. Easy. Now I just thought about it. I forgot he directed this. Dolls.
Oh God, yeah. That's really good. I love Dolls. Okay. Yeah, that one didn't even cross my mind. I always seem to forget about that one. It kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd probably go with that one too.
Which by the way, where's like the special master edition of Dolls?
Right?
Like they've got From Beyond out now and the big fucking 4K and stuff. And like Dolls is probably one of the bigger cult films from that time period. You know what I mean? Like everybody remembers that movie when you were a kid. Like if you grew up at that time period. see. Thoughts on Blood Diner. It's one of my favorite horror comedies. It's probably like my favorite horror comedy, to be honest.
That's a pretty funny movie. I remember, I think my first channel, I reviewed that. And then one of the comments I got was the director. Like, she commented on the video.
Wow.
And it's like, can I use something for my website? And then I never heard from her again, so I don't know if she did it or not. But
Wow.
I didn't know she existed. Like, I knew she existed, but it's like she disappeared for a while. And I'm like, oh, wow. You sure this is linked up to her website? So that's a crazy movie. That's a very weird. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do today. Well, anything the brain says.
Let's see. The worst trauma film. God damn, that's like, it's hard to pick, really. I mean, Trauma's not known for their quality, man.
For me, all of them.
Man. So
I hate Trauma so badly, man. I know people like it, but that's cool. I hate all of them so bad. I hate
all of them. That might be the correct answer. I don't know. So I
I'm not a
love.
Lord Kaufman fan.
I can tell you the ones that I love easier than I can tell you the ones that I hate. I like all the Toxic Avenger movies. I like Class of Nukem High movies. I like Redneck Zombies. I like Sergeant Kabuki Man. The Beware Children at Play, I think, is insane but great.
What about Poltergeist?
Poltergeist. Man, I'm on the fence with Poltergeist because the whole musical angle and everything in that movie was just god awful, and like it had some funny stuff in it, but I think at that point they were kind of done. Like they probably should have just. Yeah, it's probably going to be something of the more current stuff that they've tried to do that I would say I hate. Although the stuff he was doing in the 90s and early 2000s was actually pretty awesome. Like they did Tromeo and Juliet and Terra Firma and stuff like that. That was when they had James Gunn, by the way. Right. And like Trent Hogger was doing shit with them, and that time period was pretty awesome. But the more recent stuff they've done has all been shitty. I'm not gonna lie. Although that Poltergeist song will get stuck in your head forever.
Oh, you know, I forgot. Okay, one I did not mind because it's a weird slasher. Although they didn't really. Blood Hook. Interesting, weird film.
It is.
I mean, any slasher where a guy kills people with a fishing hook, and then he's going crazy because cicadas are messing with his metal plate in his brain from Vietnam. And I think one of the guys who made it went on to do Mystery Science Theater 3000. So that's a movie that is not good, but it's funny, and I was entertained by it.
I agree. I love the idea that it's so fucking goofy the way they do it too. Like a giant like fishing hook that they got just throwing at people, you know.
And the power bodies like rope through each under the pier.
All right. So in honor of Cocaine Bear, what are your top 3 killer animal movies?
Ooh.
Does like bud insect like any animal? I guess you mean like any animal?
Yeah.
I know this is a weird question, but ooh.
Killer animal movies. Can it be Bigfoot? Does that count? I think he's probably just looking for like regular animal.
Man's Best Friend.
Now, how you gonna pull that one out of your ass? Like that is a great movie. Ali Sheedy and that sumbitch, Lance Henriksen's the programmer of the dogs or whatever. Yeah, that is a classic.
Well, number 1 for me, Jaws.
Oh yeah.
Number 2,
of course.
My second favorite would be, I would say, Arachnophobia. Love John Goodman in that movie. Jeff Daniels. That's a
great one.
Film that still hasn't gotten much of a release. Like no features, nothing. I don't know why, but love arachnophobia. And third, until I think of something better, I really like Alligator.
I do
Really
too. I
about
was
the
just
force
thinking
runner.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Alligator's a good one. No, actually, you know what? Scratch that. I'm going to put in one that maybe no one's heard of, is very underrated. Of Unknown Origin with Peter Weller. Directed by George Cosmatos, who did Rambo 2 and Tombstone and others, where it's a guy who is very prim and proper about his place. His wife and kid go out, and this thing, it's a rat, but it's this like Moby Dick sort of war of wits between a guy who's just slowly going insane throughout the entire film, trying to get this creature that is a rat, but it's like, it sounds silly, but it's actually, I thought, pretty good, pretty well directed.
I don't know if I have any that I would add to those, though. I mean,
Cujo?
Yeah, Cujo was always, I mean, I like Cujo and everything, but mainly for like the last 20 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
It's a tough one, though. I always like Piranha. I thought Piranha was a really good, like, not talking about the remake. I'm talking about the original Piranha, the Roger Corman version. But yeah, I'm sure there's some more in there. Of course, there's Cruel Jaws. That's a fucking classic. Phantasmat. I didn't even see this earlier. What are the top 3 De Palma films? Let's see. Dressed to Kill is one of them. I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
Carrie's definitely one of them.
My favorite would be Scarface. Casualties of War would be in the top 3. That's a good Vietnam movie. Michael J. Fox and Sean Penn. So probably Scarface, Casualties of War, and maybe The Untouchables would be third, maybe.
I really like Blowout.
I like that movie too. Yeah, he had a lot of really good movies though. Sitting here thinking about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm losing track of all the comments again. 1 second. Yeah. Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah. This is like asking what's the worst Nazi? What is the worst Michael Bay film? It's like pick your poison, really.
Yeah, I haven't seen all his movies, so
I'll tell you, didn't he do Army of the Dead? Wasn't he the one?
No, that was
Zack Snyder.
That's Zack Snyder. Okay, well, fuck him.
Michael Bay 2.0.
Michael Bay. Wait, Michael Bay did Pearl Harbor, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's it then. That's 100% it. Ben Affleck.
I will admit, as much as I give crap to Michael Bay, it's more of a producer that I dislike him, because as a director, I actually enjoy the Bad Boys films. I enjoy The Rock. I enjoyed, what was that movie? The Island. I didn't mind, but I don't care. To me, he might as well have directed these movies. The Super Chud, Mongoloid, Ninja Turtle movies, where they're 8 feet tall and 5 feet wide, and they look like they're ready to have some acne. They took steroids, and they took whatever pills, and they look like they have Shrek and a Goomba, had a lot of the sexual relations, and has 4 just crap babies. Those movies I just hate to death.
Fairly accurate, yeah. Let's see here. I thought this was an interesting question, though. Alfa Romero asked, what movie do you wish that you could go back and experience for the first time again?
For me, Aliens.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would love to see it in the theater and get the audience reaction too, like when it came out. So for me, Aliens.
Yeah, if not that, probably Terminator 2.
Oh my god, yeah. Dude, I saw Terminator 2 at least 6 or 7 times in the theater when it came out.
Nice. Money well spent.
I never will forget that. And then like I remember like having a bet with my dad because like the next year there were 2 movies coming out and we were betting on like which one was going to be like make the most money. So the 2 movies were Jurassic Park and Last Action Hero. And I was I was on Last Action Hero, and Dad was like, "No, it's going to be Jurassic Park." I was like, "No, you're crazy." And fucking Last Action Hero comes out, just shits the bed. Jurassic Park makes like $1 billion. Yeah,
that's such sad, a great film too.
I actually like Last Action Hero.
Yeah,
I do too. Now, like, yeah. Back then, I didn't get it, like, because I was probably like 12, something like that at the time. So it was like I didn't get all the nuance and shit that was going on in that movie. But nowadays, I love that movie. All right. You guys field some of these things real quick. I'm going to get some of this shit out.
Sure. Let's see. Let me check here. A lot of people loving Last Action Hero. Yeah, I've always enjoyed it. I never thought it was that bad. I like the concept of it. The kid isn't the best actor, to be fair, but that Shakespeare should have been a movie. You know, to be or not to be. Not to be. Love that stuff. Let's see. Jonathan's asking thoughts on Tales from the Hood. Pretty good anthology, but you avoid the sequels because they're not nearly as good. And there's 2 sequels that were made because Get Out made a lot of money, and they thought they could capitalize on it, and instead they made really cheap. I remember one of them had a wraparound with like a big CGI robot. It was like a political thing as well. It got very, very political. It was like I don't even know why. But Tales from the Hood, the first one, I think, is one of the better anthologies. I always liked the what's his name, the guy who's Clarence Williams III.
Oh yes,
yes, the shit. Yes, the way he's like with the 3 like game banners. Yeah. Oh yes, the shit. Yes, I got the shit.
My favorite Clarence Williams fucking part is in Half Baked, where he's he goes, they're trying to get him to say something like, can we buy the cocaine off of you or something like that? And he goes, he's like, candy is dandy, but they keep trying to get him to say it. He keeps making up these riddles and shit. He goes, so, can we have the cocaine? He goes, yeah. That's right. You ask him where he's from. He's like, I'm from Jamaica, from the beach. A lot of mercy.
And Eddie Fan was asking, what's your favorite movie guide? Like a book that lists reviews, etc. They kind of went out of style with the internet. I remember collecting those back in the day. Funny enough, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's the most nostalgic because I had this when I was a kid, and then as a kid you lose things. And I thought I would never see it again. And then one day, years later, I was able to find it. And it's this thing here. It was when I first got it, was a store called On Cue. It was cool. And the reason I always like going through this is because when you open it up, and actually let me get to the horror section if I can find it. They actually showed you the VHS covers, which was nice. And screw it, so it's like this. And it's black and white, but they'll show like all of the VHS covers as well as like a review and stuff. And so it was just cool to just look through it.
Yeah.
To see all the VHS covers. And as a kid, I looked at the pictures, but now it's like you could. So that was like a cool little guide, as well as if I can find it. There's something called a Creatures Features guide that I have around here somewhere. I'm pretty partial to as well, and like those are the ones I would say I looked through the most when I was a kid.
I'm trying to remember if I had a book like that. Didn't Entertainment Weekly put out something like that for movies each year?
They might have.
Because I vaguely remember having something like that too.
Oh, things indie fan, yeah, like this would be the horror, so it'd be like, oh, Pet Cemetery,
oh,
Pet
yeah.
Cemetery 2, Phantasm, and go through.
That's a hell of a good idea, really.
Wow.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they did an update of this with colored, but like you said, the people just use the internet, which is
That's
get
true.
it, but I still like something physical to look at.
Yeah.
All right, let's rapid fire some of these son bitches. There's a lot of them still left. Hold on. Best 90s villain in any movie. Right off the top of my head, I'm going to go with shit, they said the 90s. Fuck, why didn't they say the 80s? Best 90s villain in any movie. Go, Rambo.
Dr. Doodles. I don't know. That's not my answer. I like Dr. Doodles, but 90s.
It's right over your shoulder, Matt. Lance Henriksen and Hard Target.
Hard Target.
Oh,
yep.
Yeah, I'll go with
That's all that needs to be said, really.
I'll say JT Walsh in Breakdown.
Oh, hell, there you go. Any thoughts on Happy Death Day?
Like them. I like both of them.
I like the first one. The second one is I didn't like the second one. Love the first one.
Yeah, first one's fun.
What is your favorite boutique label and why?
Arrow Video. I think they do a good job. I love the Tremors. That's my favorite one because it's one of my favorite movies. And so far I haven't heard as many issues compared to Scream Factory and other stuff. So I'll go with Arrow Video. But Vinegar Syndrome is getting up there.
Right now, I would say I'd probably say Vinegar Syndrome. I mean, for me, like a lot like you. I would have probably said Arrow a year ago, but it's like the shit that Arrow just released. I have for the last couple months, I have no interest in whatsoever. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll probably say Second Sight.
Yeah, I forgot about Second Sight. I always forget about the foreign labels like that too.
Yeah,
I might change that when they get the Hitcher out.
That's true.
Just waiting for release date.
Yeah, that release of Monster, the Session 9 release. Of course, their 4Ks are excellent. So yeah, I would say Second Sight.
Let me see. Just loading.
Oh, real quick, like since Indie Phantom, you mentioned guides. I wanted to show this real quick. Since someone mentioned video games at the start, they have books like this, which is cool because they actually go through every single game, reviews, and all these pictures for every single game ever made for that system alphabetically, which is for those who like these type of games and want to have a retro back. Pretty cool way they do that. So that's how I know it's the internet and all, but I like physical things. I will always prefer physical things because they'll never go away unless you throw away and accidentally or you're drunk.
You know what I miss? Electronic Gaming Monthly. EGM.
EGM.
I remember that.
Yeah. I used to get those like every week, or was it every month? Whenever they came out, like
it was every month.
Yeah.
because I never canceled my subscription, but I always meant to. I had like hundreds and hundreds of issues.
Yeah, after a while, it kind of became, useless once the internet came around, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Underground or Synapse? That's a hell of a question. God damn, that is tougher than I would have thought it would have been to pick.
Nowadays, all time.
Yeah, that's a point, because back in the day, I probably would have
Blue Underground for me.
Picked Blue Underground, yeah, but like nowadays, I probably would have picked Synapse, because Blue Underground doesn't release shit. They just recycle their old titles now. So it just depends, really. I think overall, though, I just like Synapse better as a company. They never have any kind of like technical problems really with any of their stuff. All their stuff always looks amazing. It's always packaged really well, and Don May Jr. is like awesome. So
I'm going with Synapse for 2 words: Red Scorpion.
That's right. Yeah,
Game Red Scorpion on Blu-ray.
Yep,
I'm with you. And I'm sorry that bombed so badly, so they didn't do more action films. But I love Red Scorpion. I love that Blu-ray. So
for some reason, Red Scorpion could never get over, man. It couldn't get over in the theater, and it couldn't get over on home video. It just never
It's too bad. It's a fun movie. It's Dolph's Rambo, Spetsnaz, blows up a helicopter with a machine gun. He blows a guy's arm off, done with Tom Savini effects. What's not to love? Come on.
Very true.
It's Red Scorpion. I am Spetsnaz.
Let's see. Jurassic Park Carnosaur. That's great. I've been trying to think of these, but I can't ever think of any of them. So maybe you guys can. What is a movie that only has a VHS release that you want to see upgraded?
I have a few of them. One, I know Michael Felsher, you said no to this, but Murder by Phone with Richard Chamberlain. I know it's a silly idea, but phones picked up and a sonic wave that made people's eyes bleed and explode and go out the window. That's crying for a Vinegar Syndrome release. I really like Murder by Phone. Nightlife, aka Grave Misdemeanors, was Scott Grimes, who was in the Critters films.
Oh, yeah.
The first 2. And this one, that Night of the Juggler, really good one with James Brolin, good thriller, has Cliff Gorman, who was the cop in the first Angel movie. It's kind of like Taken Before Taken. It's a guy looking for his daughter to turn up a city. Night of the Juggler is a really good one as well. But yeah, Murder by Phone, Nightlife. I'm sure there's others. But
what do you think, Mark? Can you think of any?
Well, there's one for sure. I know it has a DVD release, but I can't see anybody ever putting it out. I hope it does get put out, and it's probably more so due to the director than anything. It's Larry Clark's Another Day in Paradise with James Woods. You guys seen that?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It's a fantastic film. For me, that's his best movie, no question. It's him sort of taking this young teen guy who's like a junkie and his junkie girlfriend on like not so much a crime spree, but he's like taking them under his wing, teaching them the life of crime, showing them a different way other than just getting, wasted all the time. It's really got a realistic approach. I mean, all Clark's stuff does. But the whole like underlining theme of it is really great, and it's very underrated and nobody ever talks about it. And I see Indie Phantom has seen it. Yes, it's an amazing movie. One of my favorite crime dramas for sure. Yeah, if you guys can find like a rip of it online or a stream or something, definitely watch it. Make sure you find the uncut version though.
So one that somebody was talking about earlier on Discord that I don't know if it has a DVD. I know it doesn't have a Blu-ray though. is Rampage, the
William
the
Friedkin.
William Friedkin film that kind of got like completely buried. I think Michael Bihn's in it,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm not positive it has a DVD. Maybe somebody on here will know, but I know that it desperately needs some sort of upgrade, or even to be like kind of like brought back into some sort of popular, mainstream sense. Because I mean, if Vinegar Syndrome can do some of the shit that they can do with some of these movies, man, that are god awful, one of which I have over here, like they can do something with freaking stuff for sure. Good Lord.
Nah, apparently it's only on VHS Laserdisc.
Yeah. So Rampage,
crazy.
It's weird because there has to be some sort of rights or something issue with that movie, because they've released everything Freakin's done, like on something. Even Guardian has a fucking Scream Factory Blu-ray, so it's like, and that movie's awful. That movie's about a druid fucking tree woman, so eats babies. So let's just get Rampage out for God's sake. Or it could be about the content of the movie too. I didn't think about that, but the content's pretty.
Yeah.
For this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Has Ghost Story from 1981 been upgraded yet? I think it's got a Blu-ray, doesn't it?
I think it does have
Scream Factory. I think put that out.
I think so.
Sounds about right.
I can't remember seeing that. Has the movie Dead and Buried been made into a Blu-ray? Yes. I know that for a fact. I think it's got a 4K, as a matter of fact, that just came out from Blue Underground.
Okay.
Am I disappointed with Scream Factory's Dead Silent special features list? Unrated cut won't be on 4K. Lots of people on Facebook are mad about that. I'm in general just disappointed in Scream Factory all the time. I'm glad that they're releasing that movie, because that is definitely one of James Wan's films that doesn't get like any kind of recognition anymore, oddly enough. And it's a pretty fun movie. But all Scream Factory's been doing lately, to me, is just re-releasing all their shit on 4K, like older Blu-ray titles that they have. So I'm kind of overall disappointed in them just for existing right now, and making like horrible fucking slipcovers for Halloween movies. That's the two things they've been doing.
So what was the last Scream? Or I was going to ask real quick. What was the last Scream Factory thing you bought?
I bought some on that sale that they had. So like the Howling 4K I got, because that was on sale. It was like $10 to $12. I can't remember which. And then they had another the Alligator 4K was on sale for like $12, and I got that. But it was all just stuff that was like Amazon or I think it was Amazon had like a sale on their 4Ks, and they were super cheap. So like I had to buy them. That was the last stuff I can remember getting. I haven't bought any of their newer stuff in a while though.
What were you going to say, Mark?
Oh, yeah, just the Dead Silence thing. I was a little more surprised that they didn't put out Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon instead. I think that's a much more entertaining movie. I'd much rather see that come out.
Who owns it?
I think it's a Universal one. It's either Universal or Lionsgate, one of the two.
What company is releasing the best mini posters? I've never heard this question before. Vinegar Syndrome, Arrow, Scream Factory, or other? I have no idea, because to be honest with you, I don't ever look at the posters.
Me neither.
I just go out on a limb and say Arrow.
Vinegar Syndrome is really good at polishing a turd and selling it in a really pretty box. Yes, they are. They're the best at that. The best of the best. All right. So I think I'm caught up with most of the questions. I'm going to show some of this stuff before we run out of time real quick. This is new shit that I just got in. Feel free to comment if you've seen these movies or anything like that. I want to get these out of the way first because they're not movies, but I thought they were pretty cool. These were on sale for $5 on the Full Moon website a couple weeks ago. So you've got the Puppet Master figures. There's the Blade one. These are more like, they look like about 3 inches, I think. The smaller, kind of like action figure style. And they're actually really detailed for Full Moon. Like, I was amazed at
Nice.
kind of how well these were done.
Wasn't there a whole thing they did like bigger versions of those and they were like falling apart and stuff? Like you were buying them and it's like
that's a whole other story, man. Like the Leech Woman one and the fucking Ghoulies thing, and then there's something else they released too that just was pure crap. But these are actually just fairly high grade. Look like almost like NECA.
Yeah, that looks really good.
That was the problem.
Yeah.
That was the problem. They need to be much smaller, and then they actually won't.
Yeah, I mean they're really good, except for this one. I wanted this one because I love this movie. It's the Mr. Slauson figure from Tourist Trap, but it looks like complete shit. Like I don't know how well you can see like how bad that looks, but like it's not great. It's got the little mask at the bottom that you can see at his foot, but the actual figure itself is bullshit. So that's more what I kind of expected from Fullman. But they did send me this free. It's the Dolls like Full Moon mask, so that was pretty cool. And there was $20 for all this, so I was pretty like impressed by it, to be honest. So I got that, and then I got like one of the best overall taglines I've ever seen on a movie, so I had to buy this. Put this up today on Instagram. It's vampire hookers, and the tagline is "Warm blood isn't all they suck."
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Yeah, so this is the VHS that they had on sale for about 20 minutes before it sold out. That's what Vinegar Syndrome does, though. They just put shit like this up, and it immediately sells out. But now this I'm actually more interested in actually watching. This is probably one of my favorite 80s movies. These sold out too, the Clue documentaries.
Oh, okay.
It's a documentary about the making of I think it's 85, 86 version of Clue, which is an amazing film, man. And I really interested to see what all went into it. Tim Curry is amazing. Basically, that whole cast is amazing in that movie. The front of it.
Yeah, that's a very fun whodunit movie.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was always interesting that all the different endings as well.
Yeah, the way they did it, like just like a Clue game or something. So I got all that, and then I ordered some stuff from Grindhouse. They were having a sale on Arrow titles. This was a couple of weeks ago, I think, maybe last week, 2 weeks ago. So I got Blood and Black Lace, if you will, Mario Bava.
That's great. I like that one a lot.
I didn't have this. I don't know how the hell I didn't have this, but I never got it. Torso.
Oh, okay. Is that in the Giallo box set?
Is it? I don't think it is.
Okay.
Somebody on here that knows more about those box sets can say, but I don't remember this one being in the box set.
Okay.
Sergio, you talking about the Sergio Martino one, right? No, it's not. Because I came a hair buying that one anyway. And they've got Your Vice is blah, 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 blah's in there. And they've got Scorpion one. But I know that Torso wasn't one of the ones. Matt saying yes, it is in there.
Oh, okay.
It's in the Giallo Essentials set. Okay.
Huh.
This is the only one of these I've ever seen that had a price tag on it, but I got the Scare Maker, aka Girls Night Out. It's got a Grindhouse video price tag on it. That's not what I paid for it, by the way. But that's on there. That's the alternate code.
How much was that?
It was on sale for like either 23 or 24, something like that.
That's one where a guy has a teddy bear suit, right?
Yeah, with,
claws,
like the steak knives for, yeah. And Wes had mentioned this one, so I went ahead and got it. Death Screams.
Nice.
Now, the only one left that I want to get that I don't have from Arrow anyway, type of film, is Hell High. I want to get that one because I hear everybody talk about it pretty well. So, but yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I like
recently.
that one.
Did you like Hell High?
Good one. I like that one.
Yeah, everybody that's watched it pretty much said it was good, and so I've never seen it. I kind of want to pick it up. It's just always been too expensive. It's always been $27, $28. So it needs to go down at some point. Damn, man, it's been out for a while. All right, so we are nearing the 2-hour mark. If anybody has any questions, now would be the time to just throw them up. But in the meantime, did either one of you guys get any shit?
Well, like Anthony asked, did you see those like Stream popcorn, like helmet the things that they have with they're on sale? Like they're actually selling that popcorn ghost face. I'm like, why would I ever want to buy this crap?
So that is quite the rage in like collecting right now. Like everybody's trying to get those. And then recently I found out like people are paying like $150 for them on eBay right now. And then recently this was so killer. So like I think it was AMC put them up for sale on their website where you can buy for like $24. So like,
yeah, I saw that.
The only problem with that is you don't get them until August.
Yeah, I saw that too. It says shipping.
They don't ship, yeah. So that's like friggin', forever from now. So it's like I don't know, but why? I can tell you this for 100% degree of certainty. I'm not paying $100 to $150 for a fucking popcorn bucket of any kind.
I saw people paying upwards of like $250 to $300. Like it was, and most people are doing like the bidding. They're not doing buy it now. They're doing the bidding. So it just keeps going up and up, and people are actually buying it for like hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, that's mind blowing. Like I would never.
I want to see a filmed reaction of the guy that bought for $300, and then hey, I have something to show you. It's his website. And then they see the $25 price. And just the film, they're just head explosion, scanner style. Just
yeah, those people have to be super pissed. Like once they figure that out. That's like, because I mean, who cares, man? If you get it like a couple months later, if you save like $150 on it, like it's like Jesus.
But people are paying $150 to $300. Are they buying it because they actually want it, or do they think they'll be able to sell it later for some reason?
You could never. Here's the thing about that: like, if you're buying it for that kind of price, you could never want to resell it because you'll never make any kind of profit on it. So these are like hardcore collectors that just want to have everything that's like coming out. I would assume.
Oh, okay.
And I could see people right now, like, that's the funny part about it. There's probably a bunch of people that bought them on that AMC thing thinking they were going to get them in. They could resell them. They're not going to get them until fucking August. By then, nobody will care.
Yeah.
The guy has like 20 in his basement, and it's like, well, can't sell it for much now. That's what you do for trying to scalp them.
That's true. Replacement Dick Demon. I haven't heard anything about my replacement Dick Demon ever since that point. I will never hear anything about it. Fucking Severin can kiss my dick. Jackson Jack says, "Did I get this shirt at Walmart?" No, this is actually either like Cavity Colors or Gutter Garbs. That's the two places I order from the most. I don't know which one this one was from. What was the last film to creep you out as an adult? Well, we mentioned it earlier. It was probably Sinister for me. It sure as fuck wasn't Skinamarink like some of these assholes. Oh, God, that movie freak me out. Watching Legos get moved around freaks you out, then you fucking need to get out more.
Honestly, I don't have one. Yeah, I
As
think
an
I think one.
adult. Nah, not as an adult. Creepy is the bills. Paying the bills is creepier.
Yeah.
Probably the last movie, and sincerely, was the Blair Witch Project, and only because I had never seen a film like that. So creepy is maybe the wrong word, but I felt like intense feeling because I'd never seen a film like that. I felt like the fourth member of that group. Nowadays, it doesn't do it to me, but like I said, I don't really get creeped out or scared by horror films. It's just mainly if watch them for fun, since real life is a lot scarier than anything in the movie. So yeah, I can't think of an adult one. It's not scared of marine. I agree with that. I'm not scared of. I mean, if the toilet disappeared in real life, I'd be scared, but not in the movie.
Because you'd be shitting in the floor. I mean, that's a scary proposition. Or outside. Imagine like shitting outside your yard. The toilet disappeared. Fuck.
That would have only improved that movie. At least we were going outside and see something instead of darkness and pitch black and cops of closets.
This is a good point. There's parts of Pet Cemetery that still do freak me out too. That Zelda shit. Jackson Jack says the fourth kind of freaked him out. That fucking Mila Jovovich movie. Good Lord, dude.
Maybe Mila Jovovich creeped him out.
That's true. There was another one too I was thinking of that the first Insidious. Like there's parts of that movie that actually kind of creep me out when they're doing the little kids playing the piano and whatnot in that one scene.
Yeah.
And the violin music comes in. Like that's something about that was just kind of creepy to me. But yeah, it's the scariest films are the ones that can actually happen in real life. That's true.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh shit! By the way, just as a side note, there was this big discussion. We were just talking about this too on the X-Files episodes. There's this big discussion on Joe Rogan's podcast that he had with one of his guests about that they're faking all these UFO sightings and things now. Like he was arguing, he's a physicist, and he's arguing that they're faking all these, these things being shot down and all this and that, and these reports about UFOs to cover up all this other shit that's going on, just like an X-Files episode, like the chemical spill in Ohio and the war and all that stuff. They're basically saying they're just kind of trying to distract everybody away from that shit. The funny thing about it is if they're doing that, it's not really working because nobody seems to care.
I was gonna say that like that's a failed mission then because nobody cares.
It's like let's see. All right. Well, we're at 2 hours now anyway, so now's a good time as any. Thanks to everybody that's asked like a million fucking questions. This went over like 100 times better than I thought it was going to, just the sheer amount of volume of questions and things too. As always, I thank my co-hosts on here, Matt and Mark. It's always great to have you guys on. So, Matt, when are you out of jail? Like, when does the curfew lift?
From what I understand, it's been 2 days, so it'd be 5 days. So I'm guessing March 1st. I'm guessing Wednesday night is when the 7 days done. And yeah, it should be about 5 days. It should be about next. Trying to do count in my head. I'm looking at the calendar. Like, what's he looking at? Yeah, Wednesday. That's about 5 days. So in March 1st, I'll be back, and then you'll be. I have like 20 videos I need to upload, so I'll probably upload like 10 in one day.
That'll be cute. That's all I'll see on my list is like fucking videos, Matt.
So I'll apologize ahead of time, but thank you, Jennifer Lawrence, for that. I don't take back a word I said. In fact, it's tenfold now.
You got to start a fan page for her now.
Yep. Yeah.
Start showing some love.
Yeah, OnlyFans page.
Also, too, though, you got to call it March Madness and just release like all kinds of fucking videos like all the time. Just be cussing at people and talking about all kinds of controversial shit. Just
burn her all down. But if anyone who does watch my stuff, if anyone does happen, you never know. I did create a second YouTube channel just in case and also I am using Odyssey, which is an interesting site where I was able to transfer so far over 1,000 videos within a few days. Because it automatically does is ODYSEE. It's like another site competing with YouTube. That it's funny. I actually had a problem, and I asked them. They got back to me within a day, and it's like, oh, big conversation. Like, yeah, we know YouTube sucks, and we're getting a lot of traffic. So, thank God, we know how much YouTube sucks. So,
yeah,
I did ODYSE. It's people try to compete, and so far it's pretty smooth. So.
I honestly I wish something would come along and gain some traction to compete with YouTube, because it really is a fucking bummer. Like, it just is. Like, the stuff that they're doing.
There's another one that I've seen recently. It's probably been for a while, but I've noticed it more recently. Rumble. You guys seen that?
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried to upload, and it's probably because I have satellite internet, so it's probably not. I'm the abnormal one in the group. That's what I have to do is by phone. But what I did is it got to 3%, then 2, then 1, then 3% upload, then 2.
It's like Napster back in the day. Like fucking LimeWire.
But yeah, I have her Rumble, and that's another site that's competing. I agree with you. I hope, but I think YouTube's like in a way a drug for a lot of people. Like, they're so used to it, it's hard to break the habit. It's like a lot of things. It might not be the best, but it's the most popular. So
yeah,
it's like a lot of movies. How many movies make a lot of money when they're not the best movies, but they have a brand behind it, like Marvel or other stuff? Is like, well, they're not good, but they make the most money.
No, Marvel is definitely the farthest thing away from being good. Real quick though, because I forgot all about this. Sunday night, I want to hype this up though. We've got a chance. There's a lot of people still in here. Sunday night is Scream Factory Year 6 on the Dead Pit channel. So we got Pop from Pop's Movie Dungeon. We got Garrett's going to be on there. We got me and CK are going to be on there. We're going to be talking about Year 6 of Scream Factory. There's a shit ton of titles to talk about. So that's our next big show. I want to make sure everybody knows about that and gets tuned into that. But yeah. So that being said, Mark, have you got anything coming up?
I do. I actually have 2 videos I'm going to upload probably when we get off here. One I probably will schedule I guess for Monday. But the other one I'm going to drop tonight. So probably will take a while to upload though. So yeah, it'll be up after midnight.
All right. Before we go though, real quick. Unless you know this.
That guy, man.
Just that real quick.
I'm the only one that's Michael Myers, you fucking bitch.
I had to save that video. That was CK, right? That put that up in the Discord, the link.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to him. I'm so glad he put it up because I had to download it. Now I can keep it and watch it on loop.
Man, if you haven't seen it, it's truly like something to behold. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before, and probably never will again in an interview. Like, unless there's acid or like LSD involved or some sort of and somebody just absolutely trips out, because that's one of the cringiest interviews I've ever sat through in my life, by far. You watched it too, Matt. You were like, what the fuck did I just watch? Or you at least watched our video of it, didn't you?
Yeah. And what was it Sean Clark said? The I forget his name, the Nancy guy. I forget his name.
Oh,
he owns
Michael's,
like a store.
Yeah,
he owned like a store.
So he owned like I think he did own. He may not own anymore. I'm not sure. A Halloween themed store, like horror themed store, or something like that, out in what do you say, Texas, something like that.
That makes more sense because I'm in Texas, and yeah, there's some people like that around here, so that makes sense now.
Yeah, but that whole thing was crazy. Anyway, I won't pass out and fall asleep on here. So thanks to everybody in the chat that showed up and asked questions and watched all the videos and took part in the discussion and looked at the Tony Moran stuff and prayed for his everlasting soul. And so next Friday, too, I don't want to let anybody forget, next Friday, because I still haven't got caught up on season 8. Like, I tried, but it's like there's a lot of episodes in season 8, like 22, 23 episodes, something like that. So I've got to go back and start watching as many of those as I can get in, especially the mythology parts this time, too, so I kind of know what's going on. So we'll do the X-Files show next Friday at 10. This was kind of a filler in place of that, though, so everybody can kind of get on for that wants to as well. But with that being said, thanks to everybody and thanks to my co-hosts, and I'm going to take us out of here. We'll see you on Friday, I guess.
Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do.
I want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to do nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
Hey everyone, it's Oak Early Jaws. We got some great shirts for you. We got Faces of Death Part 2. We got Creepy Stories to Tell in Kentucky. The Colonel Would Approve. We also got DeadPit.com. We got Dead Pit Radio with the little fucking Dead Pit dude on there. We got It Never Ends, a Halloween spoof parody of the new movie. We got It at Night. We got the Rat Pack, Uncle Rat himself. It just gets better and better, so go on and get you some shirts over at Team Public. It just gets better and better, boss.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. DeadPitOnPatreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.